Hello and welcome to episode 47 of the Grove podcast. My name is Moz. I'm your host. I'm back. I'm sorry that I've been away. Sometimes, as Tab said on the last episode, life gets in the way. But I'm back. Fear not. I'm back to I'm back for my therapy session, and I'm joined by Tabs. How are you?
I'm done with football. It's been a shit 24 hours. And I explained well. Hello everyone. And yes, I think I do need this therapy session. So there was the Arsenal game, and then there was John Stones, and then I've just come back to my son's football team, and unfortunately he had to go in goal, so he's the reserve goalkeeper. They were 3-1 up with 5 minutes to go, and they drew 3-3 with the last kick of the game being the equaliser. So that was a kick in the teeth because he played really well and he's not the normal goalkeeper and all the rest of it. And then I find out that the still he said, "Oh, Dad, come down, come down, come down. You'll never guess what." A Chelsea player just pulled down a Liverpool player on the halfway line, and it was a yellow card, and it wasn't sent to VAR. And I'm like, all right, don't fuck off, just leave me alone. So basically, can we get this done in 5 minutes so I can go and watch the NFL and the Grand Prix and forget about football till Tuesday because I'm done with it.
There is so much to dissect with that, but okay, can I just ask first and foremost, was your son at fault for any of the two goals?
Not at all. There was a fluky. It was such a windy day, and it was a fluky cross that took the wind and floated over his 5'7" stature into the top corner, and the only place it could have gone. He was positioned perfectly for the cross, but then the wind took it, and it went in the only place between his hand and the thing. The second one, we were too casual. The player got through and scored, and the third one was a corner and everyone was up. But apparently, we decided to leave a centre forward on the halfway line, and everyone else is in the penalty area. And so there was a man free in the box, and he scored the goal. So no, he actually made a good couple of saves, to be honest,
Okay.
and managed it well. So yeah, I felt gutted for him, and he's pretty gutted.
Well, you can. I was going to say you can tell him at least Arsenal won this weekend, but we
No,
lost for the
and
first
I
time.
was telling him the updates on the City scores. I was 1-1, and there's 30 seconds to go. So I think we're there. Oh, fucking stuff.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really care about that. Wolves, if you said to me even before the weekend that Man City would beat Wolves, that's a pretty much guaranteed. Liverpool, Chelsea, that obviously this incident where someone's been pulled on the halfway line, I've seen this still, but again, do you know what, Tabs? I think Ben potentially and Liverpool just scored, by the way. Mo Salah just scored a penalty as well. Just like just in the
Woohoo! Fancy league points. Great.
not even fantasy Premier League points for me. But the thing is, I think Ben alluded to it in the Grove group chat just about 20 minutes ago. He said, "Look, I'm not enjoying football anymore." And I know we'll get on to the game from yesterday, the Arsenal Bournemouth game. But Tabs, for me, from my point of view, is genuinely I feel like I agree with Ben. I don't enjoy watching football anymore. I enjoy being down at the Emirates, but then when I really thought about it, and I sat down and I really thought, okay, do I do I enjoy football? No, I don't. I don't think I do. I don't know if there's anything more to say with that, Tabs. I don't enjoy actually watching the football, worried about the referees' decisions. I don't enjoy that anymore.
No, I hear you, but this is why I think that, and this is why my general perspective and putting things into perspective, and like when we talked to Dave Seeger last week, it's not just about the 90 minutes. It's about the everything, the family, the camaraderie, before the game, meet for drinks, the chat in between, after, and what we're doing now and stuff like that. So I think football is more than just 90 minutes. But I know, but I understand. I think it's because we care. If we didn't care, then it would be easy and whatever. But then if you don't care, what's the point? So it's sort of a double edged sword. I just think, yeah, we don't enjoy it because the punditry is very sort of clickbaity or disingenuous or just very biased and things like that. The referees and what PJ Mole are doing is pissing everyone off, the inconsistency and stuff like that. So it's not the rules itself, or it's just the application of certain things, and that annoys you. It's like, well, you never know where you stand, and just yeah, you're right. Just so much the discourse and so much that around it. It's a shame because that bit stops being enjoyable, and I get that. If we're winning, then a lot of it is you don't really care too much and you can suck it up. But on the back of what happened yesterday, fortunately, that doesn't happen too often for us. So we don't have these. This is a difficult pod discussion to have, but unfortunately, we don't have to put up with that too often. So it depends and that's why I don't put all my eggs into the winning basket and trophies, because if you did, then how many teams are in the league? 92, and how 88 teams are going to be disappointed every year, and you're going to be upset and disappointed. So it's what you take out of it. But it's sort of going in the wrong direction, trajectory, the way it's being talked about, the way we're getting sort of, was it gaslighted and stuff like that. No, you're right. With all that around it, it does suck the enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, I think yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I think also um, I don't really know what to say. I don't really know what to say to make myself feel better. Let's get into the game.
There's nothing beating Shakhtar by 6-0 on Tuesday is the only remedy, and a bit
But
of chit chat today.
but my feeling is that I don't even. I think even if we beat Shakhtar 6-0, 7-0, 8-0 on Tuesday, I still think that yeah, like my mind's still thinking about Bournemouth and
Yeah, because you're still thinking City, you're still thinking we've got a chance, and because you want it so much, and why are we making it so fucking difficult for ourselves? We've got a chance here. City are there for the taking. They are
yeah,
vulnerable. They are showing it, and that's why. That is because of that, and that's why it's so annoying. But we'll talk about it, and I'll bring you down, and I'll give you hope. And even though I've got a lot to complain about, it's it's October. It's fine.
yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck.
I know.
Tabs, before we get into this, do me a favor and can you turn down your volume on your like speakers because I can hear myself when I'm speaking and it's
Yeah.
the sound of my own voice is grinding my gears. Um,
Oh God! Imagine how the listeners feel. But there we
exactly.
go.
So, um, highlight and low light from the game yesterday, and I'll go first if that's okay. So my highlight was the fact that it was the first time this season that I was out, watching the game, not just watching at home, but I was out and I had high hopes because I was sat with a bunch of Liverpool fans and I had high hopes that we were going to win and Liverpool were playing Chelsea today, and I thought, oh, this could be a perfect weekend. So that was my highlight, which slowly turned into a low light. I say slowly, it was half an hour into the game that it turned into a low light. And my low light was William Saliba. I don't know. We'll talk about it in more detail, but my low light was the fact that he got sent off, had the red card. The sending off changed everything. We weren't the greatest team before that for the first half an hour by any stretch of imagination. But what I would say is William Saliba is a world class defender, if not the best defender in world football at the moment. What was he thinking? Why was he panicking and putting his hands all over this attacker? He's still got 45 yards to go to the goal. So, and you could probably say he would outpace him as well. Potentially, David Raya would have got to the ball and whatnot. So that was my low light. The fact that we yeah the sending off. What was yours?
I was going to say the highlight was, we were playing in our third kit, and I think everyone likes it. But even then, after a while, actually, I thought, nah, I didn't actually like it on us playing. I didn't like it, so even what I thought was a little highlight too. It's nice to see that kit out because you see people wearing. So no, that turned into a low light. Yeah, and the low light was here we go again. Fuck, so you want to sit there, you want to watch the game, you want to enjoy it. You're right, we weren't playing great, but we had another 60 minutes to go. We know what we like sometimes, and hopefully we could be top of the table. And it seems like every time we got a chance to go top of the table, we get the double barrel shutdown out and shoot ourselves in both feet and then in the mouth. But it's sort of like, yeah. So it's there wasn't much highlight to take, and there was just one big big low light from the whole from. Well, even the first 30, there was nothing really much to take of it. So yeah, just the game in general. So there we go. I think poor performance, and we can dissect that. But
Yeah, let's
yeah,
just get into it then. So we had another new lineup. Obviously, Ben White was back. That's good. By the way, I've got a bone to pick with Ben White. Actually, can I just
yeah,
tell you a bit of the bone I've got to pick with him? So Ben White. I don't know if you managed to see the Amazon Prime interview with Ben Foster,
not
and
yet. No.
they're walking their dog. So it's worth a watch actually because Ben White comes across really nice and really good there. But the problem is he talks about a clothing brand that him and his friends have started up, um, just like as a side hustle, if you like. And he said, "Oh, we've started it up because clothes are so expensive nowadays, and this is like a streetwear brand that that we've started up to make it more affordable for everyone." And he said, "Oh, it costs like £6 to make a hoodie or a t-shirt or whatever, and some people charge 100 quid." So then there's me thinking, I follow this account, this Instagram on Instagram. I follow this account that's like a clothing brand, and I see Ben White obviously model the clothes. So I'm thinking this will be his brand, and lo and behold, it is. I go on the website. I think, oh, that's quite a nice green hoodie that he was wearing in the video. I see it. I click on add to basket. 90 quid. Ben White. What is
But it's
going
not 100.
no, but if it's costing you £6 to make and you're then selling it for 90 and you've just said on this, so that's my bone. So I actually messaged them and said, look, can you guys justify why you're charging 90 quid for this when Ben White's come out and said it costs £6?
Spray tan ain't cheap.
It's not, but so that's my bone I've got to pick with him. I don't have much of a bone to pick with him for his performance yesterday. I think he was, he looked like he hadn't been away for very long when he was back in the team. The only worry that I've got from the lineup was that we were missing two huge players in Saka and Odegaard, and it was a worry that we just look so basic. We don't look poor. We look very basic without them. We just felt like we were relying on set piece goals yesterday, to be honest with you. And lo and behold, we got done by a beautiful, I must admit, a beautiful set piece goal. But no Saka was a huge miss for us down that right hand side. Let's just hope it's nothing too serious. There's rumours going around on Twitter that he's out until December. I don't know how accurate those are. If that is the case, and if Martin Odegaard has had a setback as well, then God, I don't want to think about that. But it was just without Saka and Odegaard, and I don't know whether also Marino, Partey, and Rice worked in the midfield. I think it was almost too defensive, too disjointed. So I don't know what your thoughts are, and also sorry before I hand it over to you as well. I want to hear your thoughts on your thoughts on Raheem Sterling's kind of cameo, if you like, of in the first half an hour, because there was a huge mix of opinions on social media last night and this morning on his performance. And some people said he was brilliant, really good, providing an outlet, and some people said he was shocking. So interested to hear your thoughts, Tabs.
I'm not going to be on Raheem Sterling. I'm not going to be too extreme because I think that first 30, no one was playing particularly brilliant. So he was just part of a team that was, as you said, disjointed. It was an unfamiliar. So basically, a new lineup. So again, Marino's coming in his first start. We went back to our familiar, was it 4-3-3 sort of formation. And you're right, I thought it was a bit conservative. Where was the creativity coming from? And yes, okay, we are going to use our fullbacks, but yeah, I don't know. You're right. It just looked a bit concerning. And so look, but any team that you take out your top two attacking threats from any team, you take out Salah and Diaz, you take out KDB and Haaland. Both Liverpool and City will suffer. So it's no surprise that that we would suffer a bit. But I still think it was a strong enough 11 that over 90 minutes we would create enough to win the game. So it wasn't too but I think this is what me and Jamie talked about pre thing. I was thinking that might be the midfield, and he said, it sounds a bit conservative, and in hindsight it was. You could have had Trossard in there, Havertz in there. Yeah, I'm not too down on Sterling. He did what he did, but he was like everyone else. Again, I think the pitch was very slow. It seemed to be heavily watered. The grass seemed to be long. So there was so many not miss hit, but short passes from both sides. The ball just wasn't getting out the feet. It wasn't flowing. But for me, the biggest issue was that all these changes again, some enforced, some not, post international break. So the team having a chance to work on stuff, and I just felt Arteta was maybe trying to experiment, or Mourinho has to come in because I need to give him minutes. But it just seemed too many changes, too much after the international break. We said, look, let's just continue with doing what we were doing, and then we'll maybe use Shakhtar, and we'll figure out the time. And I think just I think that maybe was like the first error from Arteta and part of his learning. And I just felt, even in players coming back from injury. So White looked good, but then you could tell he was tiring. You can tell when he's tiring, and he was tiring towards the end. Marino's first game playing not in the play position. I think he's meant to be playing with, and so on like. So yeah, there was just too many things that were sort of wrong. There was no rhythm, no flow, very scrappy. So I'm not going to be down on Raheem Sterling. I think he created our best chance in the first 30, and then he got sacrificed, whether should have been him or not. And then he comes off, but I don't think it was his performance. I think again that's Arteta being conservative, and maybe because of what he offers going back, he took him off but then again Trossard was terrible. So yeah, I don't think that
More
really worked out.
the more I'm thinking about this game, and the people who listen, and our loyal listeners will be listening to this and feeling the same. It just feels like yesterday was a performance of the Arsenal of old. And I don't know if it was just me thinking that because I was watching it out in public, obviously with non-Arsenal supporting friends, and they're critiquing every single thing Arsenal are doing. But I've watched the game back actually this morning, and uh, we just looked so we look like a team, and I don't mean this in a negative. I don't want to sound negative here, but we look like a team who are at real risk of going backwards because of the key players we're missing, and we don't feel like it doesn't feel like we're comfortably winning or even comfortably playing in games. And is that because there's so many new players in the team? We have Calafiori, we have Timber, as a new player, shall we say in inverted commas. We have Marino, we have Thomas Partey, who's not new, but is not used to playing week in week out. We've got one or two of Trossard, Sterling, Martinelli, Hayes, that kind of thing. It just seems like we're trying too much or we're trying too hard.
I think it's a consequence of the situation. So when you get new players, normally if you're embedding them into a settled team, it's very different to they're coming into crisis all the time, be it crisis of our own doing, 3 red cards in 8 games, or crisis of injury and people being out. So it's not like, and yeah, so it's not like they're coming in to settle, then they can settle in, and you've got all the brilliance around you. So basically, you've got 10 players who are used to playing each other. You've got the brilliance around you, and hey, you've got one person you slot in, they'll be fine because everyone else will take care of them. All of a sudden, you've got a new player here, someone playing out of position there. Oh, I'm coming back from injury here. And so therefore it is a lot. It is a lot harder, and I think we've done really well up to this point. To go unbeaten, to win the games that we did, to survive the games we did with 10 men. I think it was just a game too far. It was just a game too far when we were just trying to survive and get through it with a team that was not used to it. And I think I said this, or I tweeted it or threaded it or whatever. I said that and this is why teams in the past, like when we had our Invincibles and Wenger had some teams, when they were down to 10 men and they would go on to win games or not lose games. I think a lot of it is because if we had a settled, strong, winning top 11 that then went down to 10 men, that's a very different story to suddenly each time you're going down to 10 men, it's with a different team in different circumstances, and you just and so I think had it been like so put it like this, had we gone down to 10 men in that period at the end of last season when we won those 18 games or whatever, I think that's a very different story to going down to 10 men at the beginning of the season now, and it's chalk and cheese, and I think it was just a game too far. Plus, it was like 60 minutes, 65 minutes that you had to play, which is different to a half where you could adjust things, and so it's circumstantial. I don't think we're going backwards. it's just really hard. And any team dealing with this would struggle. Now, Arteta's not using that excuses. He said today in his quotes, we're not wasting energy on making excuses. It is what it is, and it's our own fault, and we need to deal with it. But it can explain, and if any team did it, I would imagine any team would also struggle with this. But also, Bournemouth played well. Bournemouth are a high pressing, high intensity team. They cut off all the passing lanes. You know, they put us under pressure, and so they played well at home on a small pitch. It's easier to do that, especially against us. You know, where we want to use our fullbacks, want to use our wide men to attack. The space isn't there, and so they really made the game difficult, and they maximised their opportunity, and we played beneath ourselves. We were shit yesterday, and I'm not going to lie, but at least that's something that you can rectify. Versus we played well and still lost, then that's more worrying. We were just shit. We forget about it. We move on. We learn. Let's let's
Yeah,
go.
and there's no, there's so much talk on social media for engagement farming, I guess, but
Yeah,
fans are, saying this is our season over. If Liverpool do beat Chelsea, they've actually just been awarded another penalty, believe it or not. So could be 2-0 very
I
soon.
think it is 2-0. Someone said 2-0.
All right, okay. Well, so essentially, if Liverpool win, we're going to be 4 points, obviously, off them, and everyone's like, "Well, if they beat us next week at Anfield, at the Emirates, sorry, it's going to be 7 points, and then Man City will end up winning as well." But look, we can still beat Liverpool without William Saliba. We can still go to play against Liverpool at home as well, and still play. The problem we have is we're not playing against just 11 men. We're playing against what seems like the VAR as well, and I hate blaming. I'm a stickler. When I play football myself, I blame refs for everything, even if it's got a call right. I'll still tell them it was wrong. I dislike referees in Sunday league and amateur football, but I don't like blaming the referees in professional football because they have a difficult job to do. But when you have things like the camera showing Howard Webb putting his hand to his ear,
Don't go there. That's
there's not
just
there's nothing in that. There's nothing in that. But that
doesn't
fuel
look good. You're
fire
right. It doesn't look good.
doesn't look
The
good.
insinuation is there, but it doesn't look good.
It's like you're at your work. It doesn't look good if you were to do something that the millions of people around the world are watching. So anyway, after the red card, you wrote here in the notes it was hard to analyze because it was 10 versus 11. But to be honest with you, Tabs, I don't think that we should have even lost 2-0. I think Bournemouth were hungry. They weren't time wasting at even 1-0. They were going for it, and I think Iraola, the manager, just sensed that, and I think potentially it was to do with the fact that he has respect for Arteta. I think they know each other from a long time ago, and things that he didn't try the dark arts and time wasting, but it actually worked in Bournemouth's favour. I think it g'd up the crowd a lot more, and it it just seemed like 2-0 was almost like a not lucky to get away with just 2-0, but it seemed like they could have had a lot more. Not that they had any chances, but it was that type of game. But what I would say on the back of that is the second goal, the penalty is so avoidable. It's so both goals are avoidable, but that penalty was just stupid, and it's very rare to see David Raya make a mistake like that. I guess.
Well, 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 Raya actually throughout the whole game. Again, this is the thing. Just so many things were just not right. Raya had his worst game in terms of he mishit it once. He didn't have a great game, and I think it was just seemed to be catching just the whole. I think the whole team. I said there was only one or two players that really did right. I think Partey was good and Rice was good, but everyone else around it, Havertz was okay, but everyone else around it, there was just something wasn't right, and maybe it's the international break again. When I say it's hard to analyze, what I mean is like you can't look at stats. There's no point bringing stats into it. There's no, the XG was this or possession or because it's 10 and against 11, and you basically you well, you're not making it up as you go along, but it distorts everything. And I felt we were caught between a rock and a hard place, so we didn't go into low block. Let Man City, when we were down to 10 minutes, it was a very easy thing. We were winning. It's Man City. Let's not be stupid. We're gonna hold this one out, and I said we almost did. With Bournemouth, we still sense, well, actually, we've still got a chance. We should be all right, and all the rest of it. But we sort of did neither one thing or the other. Now, Bournemouth didn't really create a huge amount. I mean, I think there was a Semenya chance at the beginning of the second half. But everything that they got was of our own doing. So it was very, all of it was very avoidable. But we also didn't really attack a great deal. I think what our problem was that we didn't have any outlets. So apart from Havertz would have been like getting the high ball, there was no pace. So therefore, Bournemouth could play a high line. They could press high because there's no ball over the top. There was no pace, and that's why maybe taking Sterling off over someone like Trassard, over Marino, you got to sort of risk a little to win something. So we sort of made it easier for them, and then us. So I think our substitutions weren't great. So I think it wasn't a great game for Arteta, not a great game for most of the players. And as we're making it hard for ourselves. This league is hard enough as it is. Why are we masochists or something? Are we trying to? Hey, you know what? We're not going to win this properly. We're going to make it so fucking hard, and then we're going to show them. I said, no. Can we just win it normally, please? Yeah, it just sense. So I just sense we didn't really know what to do or how to approach it because we knew it was Bournemouth. So therefore, we should try. We should even with 10 men have a chance. But yeah, and then they said that the 2 goals were yeah.
Let's talk. Let's dissect the red card properly. Then I
Yeah,
just want to get your thoughts on that. So first thing, I think we can both agree on Leo. The back pass is just really fucking shit, isn't it? It's a really, really, really poor back pass. I think in the notes you wrote it was very casual. That's the word I would describe it. Yeah, you wrote here as a casual kind of volley slash pass back. I would tend to agree with that. I think it was just very lackadaisical, nonchalant kind of, just thinking that it'll go back. And I think Arteta will, obviously he's angry at the red card, but I think that will also, be something that he potentially mentions and brings up and says, look, we need to be sure. We need to, when you're passing a ball, you need to be sure it's getting to the player. And then again, I think you'll agree with this part as well, as Saliba was just very stupid to put his hands on him. At first glance, it looked really soft, and then the more and more I watched it, and I guess that's why you have VAR, because they watch it over and over again to form an opinion. But the more times I watched it, I realised, yeah, it's a red. It's a
it's a
bookable
foul.
it's a bookable offence. Yeah,
Yeah, it was instinctive. To be honest, I think it's instinctive. You're there. It's just a split-second thing. You're instinctive. You panic a bit. It's part of his learning. He's still what 22, 20, 22. I think 22. So I'm not too down. I'm not blaming him. Put it like this, it's an instinctive, but it happens. I'm like I'm putting more on Trossard. What the fuck was that? Well, what are you doing? Why are you putting us into trouble unnecessarily? What is it? So I'm not going to be down on Saliba for what he did, because it was just clumsy, and there was no need for Evan Nilsson to stay down holding his foul. It's a foul, get out, it's fine. But he was like as if it was poleaxed. It was just a coming together, and the forward's always going to get the benefit of the doubt.
yeah, yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say. The forward always gets the benefit of the doubt for that. But my whole kind of bugbear was the fact that you're so far away from goal. Let him run it Raya. Let him test the keeper. And even if he does score, so what? We could score five. For every goal Bournemouth score, I think with 11 men, we could have really lifted it up and scored five. So that was tough. That was very tough. Do you think there's any chance of Arsenal appealing that?
No, no. I mean, my issue. No, it's okay. So my issue is that if the referee gives a red straight away, you can argue the toss, but okay, fine, red. It's 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 denying a goal scoring opportunity of chance. Okay, it's maybe not a bang on 100%. He's clear on through. Too many variables, but not. You can't argue too much. And if it was the other way around, and Martinelli was clean through, you'd want a red. So red, yellow. I will take whatever decisions made. My issue is, and this is what I don't get, is that the referee took his time. He assessed the scenario and he said, "You know what? I'm going to give a yellow because there's enough doubt there in terms of it really being denying a goal scoring opportunity." He said White was covering, Rare was on the edge of the box, the ball was bouncing, Saliba could carry. Was it really denying? So you know what? I'll give a yellow. So my issue is that was not a clear and obvious error that required VAR to intervene and send him to the thing. to then re-referee the game. So the two things was it's meant to be a high bar for VAR, and we're not going to re-referee the game. That was not a clear and obvious error for what we've just explained and what a lot of people have said before. So it wasn't clear and obvious. Why are you re-refereeing the game? So my issue is not whether it was a red or a yellow or whatever. My issue is that it got turned over because when was it like? Yeah, that's bullshit. I'm sorry, I don't. I think there was enough doubt there. It was not a clear and obvious error to say, you know what, you got that so wrong. Oh my God, you idiots, go and change your decision. There was enough doubt there.
Yeah,
And
it wasn't a clear and obvious error, and also I think one of the criteria for last man tackles like this is the distance to the goal,
yeah,
and where do you kind of base that off? You're at the halfway line here, so that was the issue for me. I think,
yeah.
yeah, VAR got involved, and we were always told VAR is not here to re-referee the game, but that's exactly what it did. And I think a yellow card was fair yesterday when it was given, and then when I seen him go to the monitor, I knew that was that.
Well,
So,
yeah.
how much of an impact is William Saliba? How much of a miss is he going to be for Liverpool?
Well, it depends. Again, depends on fitness. Is Timber fit? Are we? So was our starting 11 saying, look, this should be a strong enough starting 11 to beat Bournemouth, and let's just be cautious. We can bring them in against Shakhtar, give them 30 minutes, bang, they're ready for Liverpool. Or is there a problem with Saka, a problem with Timber? To be honest, I think if Saka's 90% fit, he plays. So if there's a chance of getting on the pitch, he's playing. So and
Yeah.
this is also where the Tomiyasu injury comes in. If he's fit, you put him on instead of Kivior, much better centre back in the right. So, or if Timber's an injury worry, or Ben White played the game, he's knackered. The Tomiyasu injury, and I don't blame him. I'm sure he's working his ass. He's just one of those players. We had it with Jack Wilshere. We've had it with other players that I think Vizicki at a time, and so we've had it with some players that just the body mechanics, there's something up, and it just never rectifies. And so I'm not ill on him. It's just the fact that if he was fit, a number of occasions this season, he would have been so useful, and he was useful for that 6 minutes against Southampton at the end because he helped shut the game down. But yeah, so how much of a big miss if we've got Timber? I don't think so, because I think that's the whole point of having Timber as that rotation option for Saliba. This is so it all depends on what Timber. If Kivior's there, I would maybe push Calafiori in and put Timber at Kivior at left back and have Calafiori and Gabriel. Yeah, I'd rather have that, because I think we lose a bit of something that yeah we lose a bit of something without someone like Saliba in there, or someone like Timber, someone who's got a bit of attitude,
Are you
shall we say.
surprised that are you surprised that Zinchenko never came on instead of Kivior?
Uh, well, that's only if you put Calafiori into the middle, so or Ben White. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know, into the middle. No, not really, because he's coming back from injury. Kivior is the first cab off the rank at the moment because he's fit and all the rest of it. There's still 60 minutes to go. It's not like you're putting Zinchenko on for the last 20 or last 30. There's still an hour of intense football to play, and I think Kivior would be the obvious choice there, especially if you're wanting to hang on, shut up shop to a certain extent or be conservative. That's what you do. You don't bring on Zinchenko on to be conservative.
yeah.
But then we would have a bit more control of the ball, maybe with Zinchenko. So, but yeah, I just think it's more just the fact that he's he's just not ready. I have a question then for you. So
Okay.
we've had about 18 Reds under Arteta. I think 18, 17 Reds. Are we an ill-disciplined team?
Great question. No, I've thought about this question actually because I seen it somewhere on either Sky Sports News or Twitter this morning. I don't think we're an ill-disciplined team, and we were speaking just before hitting the record button on this. We haven't had a bad red card where it's been like a leg breaker, crunching tackle. Um, we've not had one of those in the certainly that I can think of in the last 18 red cards. Our red cards seem to be stemming from really stupid things. Like, do you remember Martinelli's double foul, the two yellow cards? Do you remember Tomiyasu against Crystal Palace when he kind of just had his hand like a feather on the back of Jordan Ayew or whoever it was? And was it not Tomiyasu as well for wasting time once? And
Palace, yeah, with the throw in, yeah, there was two, yeah.
did he get sent off twice against
No. It's Palace. So it was like he got a yellow card for
Oh, so it
the
was, so
for
it
the
was, so it
throw,
was.
and then
Yeah, yeah,
Ayew initiated contact, and Tommy
yeah,
Asu was like,
yeah, yeah,
"What's
yeah.
happened here?" And yeah,
So no, I don't think we're an ill-disciplined team because we're not. It's not bad. It's not. Well, I guess
it,
discipline can
it depends
contribute.
what you mean by discipline. We're not a dirty team.
No, we're not a dirty team, but and I don't really think it's discipline. I mean, is Trossard kicking the ball away against Man City bad discipline, or was it just unlucky with how quick it was? Is Declan Rice that one against Brighton and Veltman bad
Mm.
discipline? I mean, the more I think about it, it could be a wee bit of it is discipline. You have to just be, but what's going to change now this season? And Arteta will need to really rein it in here with the players and tell them, look, you do not do anything that gives the referee a decision to make. You all just follow exactly the letter of the law and do as they say and just play your game. There was a stat that came out on BBC Sport last night. I was reading teams who have won the Premier League in the last 8 seasons, 9 seasons have never had more than 3 red cards in that season. And the last time a team had 3 red cards and won the league was Leicester. So that's how far long ago it was. And also, incidentally enough, the last team to have more than three, so 4 or more red cards, was Man City the season that Liverpool won the league. So I'm not saying there's a correlation between red cards
Yeah,
and winning the league. However, when it's red cards to players like Leo Trossard, Declan Rice, and obviously William Saliba, those are three fucking huge players. It's different if it's not Pedro, Neto off the on the bench or Miles Lewis Skelly on the bench who are given a bit of
yeah,
dissent. That's different. But when it's your starters and it's your main players, like I think there's another few players that we can't afford to lose, such as Raya, Gabriel, potentially Saka, those types of players we can't afford to have sent off.
yeah,
So yeah, a long answer to that is no, we're not ill disciplined, but the individual cases, some are quite bad discipline and some are just really petulant and maybe a bit stupid. And the
yeah,
other stat that I seen, sorry, just before you go, Tabs, the other stat that I seen was Arsene Wenger had his teams had really bad discipline as well. You know, when you think back to Arsene Wenger's kind of the latter stages of his tenure, I can't even speak. I'm so fucking annoyed, Tabs. When you think of Arsene Wenger's kind of late stages as manager, we were quite badly disciplined. We had a few
mm,
sending offs,
mm,
in seasons. So yeah, fuck. There's so many incidents that have happened against Arsenal that you think that could be a red card. Like, do you remember? I think you've wrote this actually. Kovacic against Odegaard when Man City played Arsenal.
yeah.
That was a red
Twice.
card. Yeah, that was a red card all day long, all day long. And what other one was it? There was. Um, I can't remember. There was.
Well, okay. Let me help you out. So
Oh,
yeah, on the
I'm
on
gonna.
on.
Oh God.
No,
There's a
it's
reason why
fine.
I smoke.
It's fine. No, I mean, yeah. How do you define disciplined, ill disciplined? On the face of it, yes. Statistics say 18 reds, you're ill disciplined, and I get that, and fine. And for me, I just think somehow we get the maximum punishment. We get the maximum punishment for 50-50 stuff, minor technicalities, or shit that doesn't happen to other teams. Like you said, the two Nelly cards against Wolves by Michael Oliver away, like and Tommy Asu was very soft against Palace. The delaying the restarts with Rice and Trossard. And then there was Shaka away to City. It wasn't a bad foul. He didn't hit the player. And then there's that one he got sent off for that one on the halfway line. I don't know when it was against Swansea, or I don't know, but it was the one on the halfway line chasing back. No one's been sent off for anything like that. So we just seem to get the maximum punishment for stuff that other. Now, I'm not saying it's conspiracy. I'm not saying they're against us. Maybe there's some bias, whatever. That's what I'm saying. We just we just seem to always get, if it's marginal, we seem to get, well, we're going to go on the side of fuck you. So I feel that, yeah. And then you get things like, Oliver, and then Howard Webb goes, oh well, he didn't want to negatively impact the game, so that's why he didn't really send Kovacic off. What the hell does that mean? And then why aren't you applying that elsewhere? Or wasn't it recently he said about the Slobber's potential
Yeah.
second yellow card for King? He said, well, there was no advantage because Liverpool were losing. Since when has the game state come into anything about that? It's either He's either broken the rules or he hasn't. What's into when and what happens if Forest want to get a second goal to secure the win to make sure that it's not just 1-0? That's absolute bullshit. That all of a sudden there's another layer of subjectivity. So, oh, they weren't getting the advantage because they were losing. I'm sorry, that is BS. And who knows about this? So again, I'm not going down conspiracies. I just think it's incompetence, some bit of bias, bit of bad luck, bit of our own doing. We give referees decisions to make, and as we said, referees can make shit decisions. And I think it just seems to happen quite a lot. So yes, I'd suggest, but a lot of it's also of our own doing. But we are not a dirty team. You've seen teams in the past like Stoke, like Bolton, like Newcastle, getting away with all the violent conduct that goes on. No referee looking at a monitor. No, they get away with it. My God, and that's why I say we get maximum punishment for minor things. But what's his name can put an elbow in the head of Jorginho and stuff
Yeah,
and nothing. And then you get the guy for Wolves, putting his hand, in choke slamming, Havertz. No, nothing. But yeah, it just the rub of the green, and I'm sure we've had some luck go away, but it just seems,
yeah, we have.
there's a perception there, and I think and I think I've said this before. As soon as you allow that perception, then that perception will continue because it's okay to do that to them, and that's why Newcastle don't get all the red cards. We say, well, I can't send everyone off, so I
No,
won't send anyone off. Whereas, it's Arsenal. There's only going to be one, and so yeah, so it just feels frustrating, shall we say? But we're not dirty.
we're not dirty. What was dirty was the corner kick routine that Bournemouth used against us. So 70th minute, I'm starting to think at this point. Well, in fact, sorry, let's just go 1 minute before that. Gabriel
Yeah.
fucking Martinelli, what are you doing, man? Just calm, relax, and pick your corner.
Mm.
Oh no, it's so annoying. Do you think any other striker in the Premier League or any other winger scores that? I do. I
It,
think I think Grealish, Foden, Jota, Salah, Nunez. I think anyone like that scores that.
it was a sliding doors moment. I think it was a good shot, but also it was a good save. So both things can be true. Um, the ironic thing that I was thinking, the player that you'd want there out of Arsenal players was Jesus, because he would not be hitting that first time into that spot. He'd be, oh, I'll come inside, and the big gap was on the near post. There was a
Yeah.
massive gap, and you just know Jesus would be like, no, and then hits it into the near post because that's just what he does. He doesn't do first time shots, or if he's hitting it first time, I think it's more on the floor, something like that. So I, it's hard. Again, Nelly's not. He's not the reason we lost. We were playing shit. But you're right. It's a chance, and you've got to put those away. And Arteta referenced that. And look, he will know more himself. And it's a shame because he's been playing well. He's been scoring. I think it was a decent shot, but also it was a decent save. And yeah, I think he had a bit more time than he thought. But the game states and stuff, and he's like, right, oh shit, this is our chance, and it was really nicely done. And yeah, just a little bit more composure you know, and then you're right, and Bournemouth go out the other end to score a nice corner routine, and their
Very
free
nice
man,
corner routine, I must say. Very nice.
and their free man, Christie, edge of the box, free, because 11-10, that's what happens, and he hits it well, and it's sort of like we needed to do something, and unfortunately. I don't know. He took too long with the subs. Again, this is why I think this was a bad game for Arteta. I think his substitutions and the timing were off. He needed to do something. Too little, too late, and then we have the penalty. Again, I'm not going to hang Kivior out to dry. It was a poor pass. It was a mistake, but we saw those
Yeah.
happening by lots of other people. Um, and then Evan Nilsson initiates the contact. You want it. It's a penalty, but it's not like It was very clever. And then Kluivert gives Raya the eyes. I thought it was. I thought it was going the side that Raya dived. I think Gianluca really always do this thing. On which side's it going? And he looked there and he did really nice penalty and game over.
Oh, I always try to do that as well. I always try to guess before the shot, and I thought
Yeah.
he was going where he actually shot because of the
Okay.
way his I always look at. I don't know what you guys look at. I always look at the angle of the calf
Yeah.
and determine from it. I'm not a keeper, by the way, and I'm probably chatting a lot of nonsense right
Neither's Gianluca by the sounds of things from earlier today.
now. Don't call your son out like that. Come on now, Tabs. That is awful, awful. Come on now. But no, I look at the angle of the calf, and
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I knew he was going that way. So
Uh,
I should have quickly picked up the phone to Pat Rice and got him to send a message down to Arteta.
Pat Rice, he's not been on the bench for a long
I'm
time.
kidding. I'm kidding.
No,
Okay.
I always look at the eye. I look at the eyes. I'm always on the eyes, but yeah, I got sold by the eyes. Well done. There you go,
Yeah. Yeah.
prick.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that was it. We lost 2-0. You know, we're not game week 31 into the season. We're only 4 points behind Liverpool. Next week, if slash when we beat Liverpool, no one will be talking about the Bournemouth game anymore because then we'll only be, well, in fact, I say that we're going to be 4 points, but Chelsea have just scored and it's 1-1.
Oh, was it one? I was going to say 2-0. Oh, okay,
It
I'm not
wasn't
following.
2-0. It
That's
was
fine.
a
Well, look, a
vital.
draw would be decent. Well, look, and then Liverpool. If we beat Liverpool next week, big if. But if we do, they've lost 2 games. You know, I mean, so look again. So someone asked on Threads, you know, what can we take positive? And I do want to take something, trying to say take something positive out of this. It's only October, okay? It's so much shit went wrong, and it was just bad play that it can be rectified. So still early days. It's just one that you put in a box, you throw it away, you learn from it, and you move on. So it's not baby out with the bathwater time. It's not like rip everything up. It's circumstances, you know, international break, injuries, just bad stuff. And yes, we're not going to die. I'm not sugarcoating anything here. We were rubbish, but you know, every now and then you play rubbish. I mean, the positive is what an amazing away record we've had in 2024. It was going to come to an end at some point, a bit like the undefeated record that we
Yeah, yeah,
then
of
lost in
course.
that the worst refereeing performance in history. You know, against Man United losing 2. It's going to come to an end, and it came to an end painfully. But I'd rather, in a way, come to an end this way because it's all our own fault and it can be rectified, and we know we are much better than this. So you know what, we learn and we move on, and this is part of Arteta's growing as well, because yeah, I think he's going to have a look at himself, think, yeah, I didn't do that right. I think there's a lot he can take from this, not just our players.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's not
It's
over.
all good.
It's not over. I'm just looking at fixtures here, and 1st of February 2025, the Emirates Stadium. Bring your fucking dinner, Tabs, because you'll need it after we've beaten Man City. What is it? It's that
uh,
red action on Twitter. I love it. I love it. He always says that. You know, he always says, "This is your BYFDs." He says next week's our first BYFD game. You bring your fucking dinner. Uh,
I thought that was when we were playing Bournemouth at home. Come on, the revenge match.
oh, Liverpool have just scored. Curtis Jones just scored. Salah assist. So you'll be happy for your fantasy Premier League. Anyway, I don't really care about that. We'll, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Let's not panic. My only message to Arsenal fans who are listening to this and who have been tweeting and threading about this game is, let's not panic. You know, I think a couple of years ago I would have been panicking and slating the team, but I think this podcast and speaking to you helps a lot, Tags, because you temper my expectations. And you know, we're not even 10 games into the season yet. We're not even a quarter of the way into the season. We're not even hit 25%, and you know we could only be 4 points off the top and still haven't played Liverpool home or away. So, you know, it's not the end of the world, Arsenal fans. There is life, you know, there is other things than football. So, you know, go outside, go for a walk, watch the NFL, watch the Formula One, start cooking, start pottery, painting, anything.
Anything but watching football.
Just
Have a
find a
break.
little hobby.
I'm going to forget about football for all of 24 hours, and then I'm going on Tuesday. There we
Yeah. But you know, there is other things in football. So you don't have to be an Arsenal fan if you don't want to, but it's
go.
the roller coaster is amazing.
But here's another positive thing. And I looked at it and said, imagine being a Tottenham fan or a Man United fan. You have to go through this every other week. It's ridiculous. I mean, this existential crisis every other week because you play well one week and then you shit the next. So I was just thinking that was another thing. Oh well, this happens once every 20 games or something. We can take that. That's fine. God, you just be grateful you're not a Man United or a Tottenham fan.
Yeah, it's yeah. It's Tuesday, Shakhtar. Are you going to be there?
I am indeed. I will be there.
Good. Before we just get on to a quick preview, Jamie, well done for guessing the scoreline right. He said 2-0. And I don't know if he specified. Did he? He did specify Arsenal, didn't he, on the pod? So
Oh,
that's fine.
yes.
Yeah, it's. So,
Shakhtar, come on.
you're
Shakhtar, we're
gonna
moving on.
you're gonna
Shakhtar.
be there. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be there. What are you looking forward to and not looking forward to for the game?
Yeah, looking forward to European night. We can forget about Bournemouth and hopefully, you know, let's have an enjoyable game. Just nice. It's first Europe. I missed the PSG game, so it'd be nice to be at the Emirates for the Shakhtar game. It'll be hopefully a low stress, enjoyable game, get a few goals, and then just make sure we're ready for Liverpool at the weekend.
Yeah, for me, it's Champions League again. It's a chance for us to get another 3 points on the board here. I think it'll be really important, really vital for us to do that. And also, I think on a side note, what I'm not looking forward to is the fact that I'm not going to be there. I feel like I'm missing a lot of games and whatnot. But life is getting in the way. The good news is though, this kind of job thing that's not a job thing that is a job thing that's starting soon as a job is actually finally has been posted and I've applied for it. Obviously, I need to apply in HR reasons and stuff. I hope I'm not breaking any rules by talking about this. But I've applied for a job and the application has been successful. And they're saying, let's start you in November. So come
Nice.
November, I'll be down all the time. And Tabs, I know your wife very kindly offered me to come round to the house for some dinner and pineapple pizza. She said personally she'd be getting pineapple Del Monte pineapple chunks in a tin and a margarita pizza. That sounds heavenly, by the way. Margarita pizza, chili flakes with chunks of pineapple on top. Unreal.
Not
Um,
at my house, you won't. I'll be getting a divorce and kicking and leaving the pod.
Um, so there will be a chance for me to come and do that. I'm looking forward to that and
Nice.
spending time with you guys. But yeah, I guess Shakhtar. So it's a game that we can kind of rotate as well a wee bit. Shakhtar. You know, when we talk about form, it's obviously a very different league. I think they pretty much every team wins every week somehow. Um, but they lost obviously in their Champions League. Their results have been Bologna. They've drew 0-0, which is quite interesting. I actually watched a lot of that game. It was just on the um, there was extended highlights on BT Sport one night, and I watched like 45 minutes of it, and they didn't look very good at all. And then they lost 3-0 to Atalanta, who obviously we drew with. So it should be a routine. I say it should be a routine win.
Yeah.
If Saturday was anything to go by, then who knows? But um, I wonder if we'll see a lot of rotation. Will we see Gabriel Jesus and Jorginho play, and potentially Zinchenko as well, and Saka maybe rested again for one more game, and Odegaard rested, and Liverpool's a big game coming up on the weekend. So what are your thoughts? Do you think he gambles, or do you think he kind of sticks with
Uh,
the same team?
I think he normally in games that he thinks we should win. I think he'll go big early, and then try and take players off like at 60 minutes and change up then. I think he's not shy in giving players minutes rather than getting them warmed up in training. So I think if Saka's fit, I think he'll play. I think Timber's fit, he'll play. I think the one thing that he could do is give Jesus a chance over Havertz because Havertz wins. I mean, I guess he's had 2 weeks off. So it's odd, and we talk about starting 11s and finishers and da, 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 da. So I think it'll be a combination. I think Jesus will get some time, Sterling will get time. One interesting one is like because we were a bit stale. The one thing is the lack of creativity. When he came on, actually, even though he looked good when he came on, and I'm always I've tried to be cautious. And there's very different starting and all the rest of it. But I just think maybe this won't be an intense game. So it's not like starting in the Premiership, because even when you play the lesser teams in the Premiership, it's hard. We've seen against City, we've seen against Southampton. You know, statistically, Bournemouth are an average team, but we can see what happens. Whereas Shakhtar, I think it could be one where he could start. I think potentially he could start. Maybe take Party out, Rice there, Marino there, and Winery, and I think that would be a good option. I think Havertz, not Havertz, Trossard might be hooked, because that performance he put in yesterday was just, it was one of those ones. He's not very good as starter. He's only good as a sub type performance. So I think he may get hooked. But I think all those players will get minutes. But this is now where I'm taking the conservatism away from Winery, and I think this could be a good game for him to start. And then the one thing is goal difference, and this is where it's interesting how he plays it, because there's been a lot of goals scored, and I think around, you've got to be in the top 8, and around that, around 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, there's going to be a lot of people all on the same points, and goal difference may play into it. So this is our chance to, we need to rack up 4, 5 goals. So I think that will be important. So if you're asking me, I'd give Havertz a rest. I'd like to see Jesus, see Winery, and then Timber and Saka back. I still think Odegaard too early, even for Liverpool. So I think, So I think it'll be a different lineup. But Saliba will play, that's for sure.
Yeah. He will play. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what he does. I think you make a good point there about he when games that we think we're going to win, or he's expecting us to win, he does tend to do that. But I think for Waneri, it could be a really good game for him just to get the 90 minutes or even 70 minutes or something, just to see what he's like, through a game, because he's probably the only player I think that's close enough to breaking into that first team. And every time he comes on, it's only 10, 15 minutes, but he looks very explosive, and he does look very good. And there's actually a little cameo going around on Twitter actually of a couple of minutes of his play, and he does look very good. So it'll be good to see him. I don't think Shakhtar offer much of a threat. They do have a midfielder called Sudakov, who has scored 7 goals this season. And as we always say at the Emirates, when they get subbed on or off, who? Never heard of him before in my life.
Yeah,
They also have got an Alexander, but it's not Zinchenko. It's Alexander Zubkov who has 3 goals. And yeah, so
yeah.
look, if we don't beat Shakhtar, I'm interested to hear your prediction, Taz. But if we don't beat Shakhtar, then something's seriously wrong, and we might have another therapy session on our hands midweek. But I'm
that,
going,
that, that pod is cancelled.
yeah, yeah, God. I'm going for we're at home. We're going to bounce back. I think I'm going for a 3-0 3-0 victory against Shakhtar
Okay.
on Tuesday.
Okay. Just on the Waneri point as well, I think to get him to start a Champions League game also is a big kudos and a big thing for him, because there's one thing starting at home against Bolton, or he'll start against Preston next week. I think again, it's just a show of intent from Arsenal, and I think it's just another level. So I think now, and we're not giving him minutes for show. We're not giving him minutes for whatever, but what it will mean. He'll like for him personally, if he does get the opportunity, I think that'll be great for him. Now I'm going to go big here. I think big. Come on, 5. Let's get the 5. Let's get Pfeiffer.
Okay.
Yeah, and Winery to score. There we go. Winery scoring, and we're getting a Pfeiffer.
Put a bet on this, Tabs. Put your money where your
the,
mouth is.
the last time I put a bet on was when Rob Holding came in against Palace after the Saliba and Tomiyasu injury. And I thought, he's coming in, he's going to score, and all the rest of it. Yeah, we won. I think we won 4-0, 5-0, whatever. No, we got nowhere near it. It was a 5. I might as well just thrown down the toilet.
Wow. The last time I put a bet on was a long time ago. Last season, at some point, but a long time ago.
we,
So,
we need we need we need Henry the tipster to come on.
yeah, we need Henry to come on the Grove. Thank you so much for listening. If you stayed this long and for an hour to listen to us spraff about the game and just kind of trauma dump about the Arsenal Football Club and what they put us through every week. Please follow us on Threads and Twitter and Instagram. We're at the Grove AFC on all social media platforms, and we'll be back midweek. Thank you also for everyone who's given us feedback about Dave's episode. It was brilliant. It was an absolute amazing episode, and obviously his book is available to pre-order or to buy now. So, and if you do that, then be sure to give him a follow on social media as well. But yeah, just thank you for all the feedback on that. And we're soon approaching the 50th episode. So Shakhtar post Shakhtar will be 48. Pre Liverpool will be, or
No,
no,
post Shakhtar is pre Liverpool as well.
and pre Liverpool will be 48. Post Liverpool will be 49, which is a significant number.
Undefeated, 49 undefeated. There we go.
So let's just hope that doesn't mean that on the 49th episode we end up losing. So we'll be back in the middle of the week. Thank you again for listening. Tabs, thank you for taking time out your Sunday evening to talk with me. Enjoy your NFL and your F1 session tonight, and make sure your son knows that he's not a shit goalkeeper, as you alluded to earlier.
He's not. He's fine. He did a sterling job. He made a good couple of saves. One real instinctive save, hit it to save onto the post at near post. He did well, and his game management was superb. It was like, that was my favourite bit where he was,
They still
where he was standing there ready to pick up the ball, waiting for the player to get as close as possible, and then picked it up. And was like, there we go. That's my boy.
Right. I'm off to watch Lewis Hamilton win this Grand Prix. I will see you soon. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Ciao, ciao.